Alright, good afternoon everybody. We are at the bee yard again today, and we're going to do a little bit of an inspection. As I was pulling up, I noticed that one of our hives looks like she had just had a hatch, which means that a bunch of bees just came full grown out of their cells, their larval cells, and so now they are full grown bees. That was doing, what, a week ago. And so now they were taking what we call their first flight, which is just when they are flying around the hive, getting acquainted with it. We're going to go in there, we're going to see what's going on with it. I have several bees that are flying around my head right now, and they are very agitated with me. I haven't gone into the hive yet at all. They are just not fond of my presence. So I went ahead and put on my bee suit, although I was not actually expecting to be a beekeeper today. So I am in some slip-on tennis shoes with some ankle socks, which means that there is quite a bit of flesh exposed between my shoes and the base of my bee suit. And at least one of these girls has already found that, so I pulled that stinger out, or scraped that stinger out, excuse me. That was fun. But I'm going to go ahead and risk it all, and we are going to have some fun in the beehive. And I got a couple of questions from a young friend of mine named Kylie. She is 11 years old, and so through her aunt, Alexandra, who is another real estate agent at Realty Advanced with me, through her, she sent me these questions, and so we're going to go ahead and address those questions. That should be kind of exciting as well. I'm going to flip this camera around and point it downward so that you can see the beehive as we go in, all right? I'm also going to bring you in a little bit closer so that you're right over the top. That looks like it's going to work. Okay, cool. All right, so the first question that we received, or that I received, was how can bees get pregnant? Which is a great question, and it actually requires several answers. The worker bee, though female, can in fact not get pregnant. That doesn't mean she cannot lay eggs. It simply means that she cannot mate with a drone and get pregnant. So instead, what ends up happening is, if she reaches a point, due to queenlessness in the hive, if she reaches a point where she begins to lay eggs to try to replace the duties of the queen, which is laying eggs, then all of her eggs will be laid and they will be unfertilized, and that means that they will all hatch as male bees. So there will be no workers, new workers being born. There will only be drone males. So there's that. The queen bee can get pregnant. In fact, that is her primary role in the beehive, is to lay those eggs. And the way that she gets pregnant is that when the time is right, she will fly out of the hive, and the drones who have been preparing for this since the males, since they've been able to start flying, they've been preparing for this. There are these groups, and mating groups, and the queen will fly to them, and she will find up to 20 drones to mate with. They still haven't moved up. We had a hatch in this one, which is what I was talking about, a bunch of new bees, and they're flying around, but they have not moved up. So we're going to leave them alone, but I want to look in there real close because I'm going to answer another question while we're here. So anyway, that is how the queen will get pregnant. She'll mate with about 20 of them. Hey Angie. She'll mate with about 20 of them, and then she'll keep that with her for her whole life, or as much of her life as she can, and that is what she'll use to fertilize those eggs. And so technically, she's not pregnant the whole time. She has her eggs, and she has that. Since you're 11, I'm not sure how comfortable I am explaining all of that to you. Anyway, she has options throughout her life, and she can choose to lay the fertilized eggs, or she can choose to lay the unfertilized eggs, depending on what the hive needs at that time. And that is how that works. Your aunt or your mom or your dad can explain the rest. How long do they live? Moving right along. That too is a great question. It also depends on the type of bee. A worker bee, from the day she comes out of the cell as an adult until the day she dies, is about 6 weeks. It takes her about 2 weeks for her wings to develop so that she is strong enough to fly. Then she'll spend some time on guard duty. During that 2 weeks, she's in the hive. She'll use her wings to fan inside the hive to, have that circulation so that they can not dry out, but evaporate the water content from the nectar. Oh, goodness. And then she will spend some time on guard duty and other duties inside the hive, maybe nurse, taking care of the queen, taking care of the larva, that sort of thing. And then for the last 2 weeks of her life, she will go out and forage for nectar, pollen, water, just whatever resources that the beehive needs. And then she quite literally works herself to death. I'm gonna bring my pretty face back on. We're gonna move over to a different hive for a little bit. I saw what I wanted to see while I was in there, and we're gonna go to a different hive. We're gonna give these girls some time to calm down. I think I just got stung again in my ankle, which is really exciting in a not very exciting but painful. Yep, there it is. Dang. Anyway, not very exciting but more painful kind of way. Since it is the ankle, it is a little bit on the sensitive side. Girls, I'm trying to walk away from your house. You leave me alone. All right. So anyway, we're gonna walk over here to this hive and we're gonna take a look inside of it. We'll get this set up right here, just like before. There we go. See that pretty field behind me? Switch this camera around. Trees. Yes, this is beekeeping. Thank you for asking, Lucy. And this is getting right into the hive from the safety of your wherever you are. Living room, office, toilet, whatever you're doing. This is how you get to be a beekeeper without actually having to get stung. I'm doing that for you. I'm doing the hard part. All right, let me go grab my smoker and I'll be right back. All right, here we are. Can you see the smoker? Yeah, okay. So the thing about smokers is that they do require fuel, and you do have to re-up your fuel source from time to time. So there's that. Ah, nice. All right, so I think we were talking about the lifespan of a bee. The worker, the female, works herself literally to death within 6 weeks of being born. The male is a little bit differently. They do have a lifespan. I pay it very little attention. It may be a little bit longer since they're doing significantly less inside of the hive. They're certainly not carrying heavy loads of resources back to the hive, whether it's nectar or pollen. They're not doing any of that. But they do fly. They're actually out of the hive a significant portion of their lifespan because they are at these mating colonies and they are waiting on queens to fly through so that they can chase them down with a chance to, you know, become a dad. And when that happens, they die in the process of impregnating the queen, or they die in the attempt to impregnate a queen. Oh, we don't have anything moved up here either. Doggone it. I was sure hoping with all the flight that I've been seeing. Oh well, all right. So they either die chasing her or they die catching her. Man, they are bumping me. This isn't even, like, these girls followed me from that other hive. This isn't even from this current hive. They are just expressing their displeasure. Frankly, it feels like in my existence, much less the fact that I just invaded their home. Anyway, oh, that brought up the queen excluder. We want to leave that in place. There we go. All right, so anyway, so that's that's two of a few ways that they can die of other than natural causes. Can y'all see down into that? Yes, you can. How cool is that? All right, there you go, a little bit closer. Oh, you don't know this, but they're flying down into the handle of this tripod. They're really going after that too. So they're just really aggressive today. Anyway, so another way that the drones will die is that mating season will end. They will no longer serve a purpose to the colony and they will be executed. Once they are no longer needed, the workers will tear the wings off of the males and toss them out of the hive, where they will then subsequently starve to death. Bees are nothing if they are not efficient, and they are absolutely efficient. Once there is no longer a purpose for that thing in the hive, whether it's the male or an aging or ailing queen, whatever it is, when they no longer serve function, they're gone. And they are replaced with a thing that serves a function. A new queen, which will be one of the daughters of the former queen. Or the drones, of course, they'll be replaced come springtime when it's time to start mating again. So all of that is cool. And then the queen, her lifespan can be up to 5 years, generally speaking. Truth be told, because she only has so many eggs that she can fertilize, she generally, based on the number of eggs that she lays throughout the course of her lifetime, she's generally only what we call viable, which means that she only has enough eggs to be useful for about 2 to 3 years. Our general practice is 2 years, but she could effectively last up to 3 years if you wanted to risk it. After that, she's not really laying any more eggs of, that have been fertilized. But her natural lifespan can be up to about 5 years. We've got one more hive that I want to check out. And it's over there on the other side of the bee yard. So we're going to walk over to it. I hope you guys are sticking with me. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. Natural lifespan for the queen, to answer Kylie's question, is approximately 5 years. Next one. Why are they yellow and black? This is a phenomenal question, Kylie, and we're going to answer that at the next hive, where I can give you a close-up view of some of these bees. You'll actually see that they are in fact not yellow and black, but they are brown and black. That's an important distinction to make, because there is a stinging insect that is yellow and black. That is the yellow jacket. They serve an entirely different function Y'all see that Mountain Dew colored Jeep behind in the background? You see that bad boy floating around town, I'm likely out showing a house. Wave at me. I won't notice you, but wave anyway. I won't notice you because, you know, I'm focused on the road, man. Come on. Anyway, so yellow jackets are a totally different thing. They are wasps. They are predators. They are, you know, mean. There we go. Back side of the hive. I'll work from the side. Does that give you a good... There we go. Yes, it is. All right. Yellow and black is yellow jacket. They are not very nice creatures. Best of advice I can give you is leave them alone. Honestly, that's the best advice I can give you with honeybees too. If you don't really have the experience as a beekeeper, you should leave them alone. They're better off without you. If you want to learn more about beekeeping, obviously you can watch these videos. Hopefully you learn quite a bit watching me. We can certainly have conversations. So they're not really taking that syrup, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. As you can see right here, probably about 2/3, 3/4 of that jar is still remaining. So we're going to leave that alone. We're not trying to collect any honey from this one. However, let's see if we can't get in closer and let you take a look at the brown and black honeybees. Hey, does anybody know if Facebook Live has a zoom in feature? It does. Outstanding. All right, Kylie, when you're watching this, hopefully you get to see this portion and you can see in there that not only are they brown and black, the worker bees, which is predominantly what you're seeing right there, not only are they brown and black, but if you pay real close attention, you may actually see that not all of the stripe patterns are the same. Right? So some will be thicker, some will be thinner, some will have more or less. But you'll see that there are big time differences in each of those bees. And the reason for that goes back to what we talked about. This one queen, one mom, may be providing 20 or more different dads. And so what we actually have here is a beehive full of half sisters, which to me is really cool. To geneticists, that's really cool. All that kind of stuff. I'm not a geneticist. Don't infer that. But to those of us who actually operate in the world of beekeeping, that's a really neat little concept. So there's a bunch of different genetics going on here. So while they are all, yes, sisters, they are not all full-blooded sisters, and so you'll see those genetic differences if you look real close. All right, hopefully that answered your question. All right, Kylie, let's see. I'm pulling out my other phone here to see what your other question was. Who is the king? Me. No. Who is the king? So technically there isn't a king. What did we talk about earlier? When the male or the drone, when he does succeed in mating with the queen, what happens? Well, he dies. He's not there anymore, right? So there isn't a living king in there. And it's not really a king and queen situation like you would be used to with, say, people or even lions. The queen isn't really, well, I guess it would be the same. About as useful as like the European queens and kings, right? But they don't really rule. All she does is lay eggs. She doesn't feed herself. She gets fed. She doesn't clean up after herself. She gets cleaned up after. So she just lays eggs because that is the most efficient way for her to be useful, is to just constantly be laying eggs. And they are constantly guiding her to where she needs to be. So she's not even in charge like a real queen would be, right? So there is no king, and the queen does not really rule like you would think she does. Why do some bees sting? Well, Because you are, or well, in this case, I am invading their home, right? And so they are protecting what they believe to be theirs. I'm going to go ahead and close this one up too, by the way. As cool as it is to watch them moving around, it's also kind of frustrating to them to have their hive open, to have their home open so long. So I'm going to go ahead and close that up. What was I? Oh, why do some bees sting? So the reason some bees sting is because I am invading their home, and they are protecting what they believe to be theirs. I tell you what, we're going to walk around to the front. Excuse me. There we go. And I'm going to stand just here so that you can see the beehives behind me. How cool is that? And then you see some of them. No! Yeah, I'm not going to stand in front of that hive. All right. How about the big tall one behind me? Can y'all see it? Oh, look at that. We just brought some more over from our Jefferson Memorial Forest location. We brought some of those over, and those are what you can see way back there behind me. We put them in a different spot so that they can get really good full sun for most of the morning. So that's what's going on back there. Anyway, so some of the bees sting because we are invading their territory and they are defending their hive. They're defending the colony. They operate under what's known as the hive mind. And so they don't act as individuals. They act in what is most beneficial to the overall colony. Okay? So that's why some of them sting. They don't all sting though, so we're really lucky there. All right. This one isn't really a question. Kylie says, I wish I was a bee. Well, Kylie, is cool. As fun as that, or as exciting as it sounds like it would be to be a bee, hopefully today you learned a little bit about how exhausting and honestly kind of brutal that actually is. Now, don't get me wrong. The brutality has an efficient purpose to it, and so it's, in the grand scheme of things, from a nature perspective, it's not really brutal, but from our what we call civilized perspective, that is kind of brutal, where the bees, you know, once you stop serving a function, they're going to kill you. Or if you are serving a function, you're going to serve that function until it kills you. So, I mean, you know, really, how cool is it to be a bee? Wouldn't you rather be a beekeeper where you get to experience their lives without actually, you know, dying right alongside of them? In fact, fun fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but research has shown that beekeepers tend to live longer lives than other people who don't raise honeybees. It's not a large amount, but it's a significant amount of time that we tend to live more. And the reason for that is because as hard as we work doing what we do, we love it, right? So we get to be out in nature, we get to be out with the bees, we get to have all this buzzing around, we get to eat honey, we live more natural lives, and so we tend to live longer because we have, I don't know, I want to say less stress, because Lord knows I've got some stress in my life, but I get to come here and just relax. I mean, look at this, I got bees flying all over my head, I'm in this veil, in this suit, I'm totally protected, and I am loving every second of it. So we tend to live longer. You want to do that? Beekeeping's where it's at. All right. Why the buzz sound the bees make? So just so you know, maybe you can see the screen. Yeah, a lot of bzzz after there. Why do the buzz sounds that the bees make? And that is the last question. Also going to be a great question. Quick fact, some of the bee business books that I have read in the past, some of the bee businessmen and women that I've spoken to in the past, we like to say that, you know, when it comes to bees, everything except for the buzz is marketable. You can't sell the bzzz sound, but you can certainly sell the wax, the propolis, the honey, the bees, the larva. You can sell all of that. So everything is marketable except for the buzz. The reason the bees make that buzzing sound is the flapping of their wings. They are flapping them so fast that it makes a buzzing sound. It's a pretty simple answer, but that was a pretty direct question, so hopefully that addressed it for you. Listen, Kylie, thank you so much for your questions. I hope you enjoyed getting the answers as much as I enjoyed providing the answers. And for everyone else who joined us today for this live, thank you very much for that. I hope that you got to enjoy some of the time that we spent in the hive. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, like Kylie did, please feel free to send them to me. You can reach me on Messenger, and I'd be happy to address your questions in a video. I will later be posting this video to my YouTube channel, and I'll repost it back to Facebook, so please feel free to go ahead and get onto YouTube and send me a like and a follow. I'd really appreciate that. I'll also be taking clips from this video and advertising through TikTok. You can find one of my links on Facebook, get to my TikTok, give me a like and a follow there. That'd be real cool too. The cloud of bees around my head has basically tripled in just a few short seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. All right, be looking for me on Wednesday. That's when I'm going to try to do my lives. I didn't get to it this week, so I made it happen on Saturday instead. So Wednesday is Facebook Live Day. Saturday will be my backup day. Okay, you guys have a great week. Thanks.